not meant to fit into a box, and maybe you're not either. Maybe you're meant to do something more. Maybe that moment that's been on your heart, that dream, that thought, that passion, maybe that's telling you something. Maybe it's time that you take that, write it down on paper, and go after it.
I'm Sydney Jocelyn, and this is She Rises Through It. This isn't just a podcast, it's a reclamation, a space for women who are done shrinking, done rushing their healing, and ready to rise through the unfiltered middle of womanhood, motherhood, identity, and becoming. This is where I reclaim my voice in real time, and where we remember that growth doesn't happen by doing more, but by doing it differently together. Before we begin, I want to share that I'm not a medical or mental health professional. Everything shared here is based on my lived experience. Please seek qualified support if you need it. And if you're here, you're not behind, you're becoming. You're in the right place at the right time. Let's begin.
Today has absolutely no rhyme, no rhythm, no reason, but just a moment for me to pause, a moment for me to come onto this podcast and speak my word and speak the voice that I'm dealing with every day. And maybe it's something you're feeling too. Maybe my message is going to resonate with you. Maybe it's not. And maybe you're going to say, Sydney, I like when you had your podcast scripted. Well, I'm shifting back. Shifting back because my recalibration month taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about where I'm still pushing, where I'm still hustling, where I need to turn it down a little bit and come backwards. And that's the podcast. When I stepped into this, wanting to start a podcast, not knowing I really was going to, all I knew is I had a voice to share. I didn't know what my messages would unfold. And the more and more it evolved, the more and more I started finding a rhythm to all of it, to make it cohesive, to make it fall into place. And I was pushing in areas on this podcast that I was like, why did I do that? However, I'm so grateful for that because it's an evolution of seeing that life can change, things can pivot at any moment. And if today wasn't the biggest reminder to me, it has been. I was getting ready this morning, and earlier this past weekend, I put away a box of Q-tips in an area that I thought were safe because the first initial area that I wanted to put them in, I knew my kids would get into, and I knew it would be a disaster. Well, this new area that I put it into, guess what? My kids did not make it a mess. But when I grabbed my blow dryer, knocked them all over, and I saw all the Q-tips on the floor, internally I was like, seriously? I intentionally moved them so there wouldn't be a mess. But maybe the mess wasn't where I thought it was going to be. Maybe that mess had me thinking that every time you make a decision, every time you press play, every time you meet a new client, every time you decide to work out, anytime you make a decision and you're not sure if it's the right decision or the wrong decision, or you're worried that you're going to upset someone else, maybe you were just like the Q-tips. You just weren't meant to fit into the box when you put it back. That's how I am, and that's okay.
I want to take a minute to share something that's genuinely part of my everyday life. I don't talk about products often, and when I do, it's because they actually support me, especially my nervous system. I use Pioneer Pam's herbal tinctures daily to help me feel more grounded and regulated, especially in seasons where life feels full and a little bit loud. Hello, motherhood, toddlers. And this isn't about fixing anything. It's about supporting your body gently instead of pushing through. If this resonates, I've shared what I personally use in the show notes so you can look into it in your own time. Another piece of my personal wellness routine I want to mention is Make Wellness Bioactive Precision Peptides. I think about my health long term, energy, focus, recovery, and how I want to support my body so I can actually show up for the life I'm building. These peptides work on a cellular level, which I appreciate because it's about sustainability, not quick fixes. If you're in a season where you're thinking more intentionally about your health and capacity, I've shared more details for you in the show notes to explore when it feels right.
I think that's the beauty of life. I don't think we're supposed to be what everyone wants us to be. And we've gotten so conditioned to meeting everybody else's standards, to dealing with what's happening externally and allowing that to determine our future, allowing that to determine where we put our life goals into, where we look at the passion. And I want to be a girlfriend for you to press play and be like, hell yeah, that girl gets it. Because I do. I do. I am living it every day. I am making decisions every day. I am changing my course every day. Because I also recognize what doesn't serve me. I also recognize, and I'm so in tune to my body, to my nervous system, to understanding when something is wrong and where does it stem from and how to start working on it. It's freaking difficult. The most difficult thing ever. And I've always thought that I had to have it figured out. I've always thought that I needed to be in this perfect box and I needed to be put aside in an area where no messes could happen. Living inside that box taught me that so many messes were happening, and I wasn't accepting of that. I was not accepting of that because I was not accepting of my future, and I was allowing myself to be conditioned to the societal standards. I am so far from that. I'm not meant to fit into a box, and maybe you're not either. Maybe you're meant to do something more. Maybe that moment that's been on your heart, that dream, that thought, that passion, maybe that's telling you something. Maybe it's time that you take that, write it down on paper, and go after it. So many years behind me, dreams and visions and doing things. And I was like, well, it wasn't a quick fix. It didn't fix it. Like, I need to be done. But quick fixes are a faux pas. Like, they don't happen overnight. You have to be willing to do it every day. You have to be willing to accept that the messes are going to happen. You have to be willing to accept that those messes are lessons. And there's something within each part of it that's going to teach you something.
I also want you to know, if listening to this feels like a conversation you wish you were having in real life, that's exactly why the collective exists. It's a space for women navigating growth in real time together, without having to perform or having it all figured out first. There's no pressure to join anything. I just want you to know the space is there if and when you're ready. And if you've been feeling the need for space, real space to step away from your roles and reconnect with yourself, I create retreats for that exact reason. They're slow, intentional, and deeply grounding. If you ever want to stay in the loop about those experiences, there's a simple way to do that when the timing feels right for you. Don't forget to check out the show notes.
I cannot tell you the amount of things I learn on a daily. To be honest, sometimes it's very overwhelming, actually. Extremely overwhelming, because I am a person that, like, if I get too overstimulated over the top up here, oh gosh, you better hold on for dear life, because I'm probably spiraling inside and I'm working through that, trying to figure it out. And then it just keeps going until I finally push back, pause, and recognize all these messes are happening. All these lessons are happening. It's okay. And just like the Q-tips, you're going to make a mess. You're going to learn. You're not meant to stay in the box and be a cookie cutter. If you were, you wouldn't be making all these messes, and all these lessons wouldn't be at your doorstep here, ready to teach you what you're meant to learn. So when are you going to do it? When are you going to realize that you're not meant for a box? You're not meant to be everybody's cup of tea. You're not meant to live a life based on societal standards. But I was listening to a message where we have gone so far off in society of, I was listening to Matthew McConaughey, I actually think, on YouTube, but we stopped thinking for ourselves. However, what I do think is we have also been conditioned to see what everybody else is doing, to be in this big experiment and allow them to decide if we're doing it right. And then we take it internally and we look at it and we're like, why am I not doing that? Maybe I should be doing that. Maybe I should be doing that. Oh, I should have that viewpoint because they have that viewpoint. That's not the point. The point is to tune into yourself, to tune into your higher God, higher power, whoever it might be, and really listen. I don't look at people based on their viewpoints, based on their political party, based on what they like or don't like. I look at them based on their character. Their character is what shows me the most. Hypocrisy shows me the most. Even though it's like, well, why didn't I get invited? I'm doing the exact same thing that everyone else is doing. Or how come they got the promotion? We should be cheering everybody on where they're at because they may not fit in the same box that you fit into. And you also need to recognize that the box you fit into may not be the same box that they're doing or that they're in. And it's a big, big learning curve. It is not something you're going to learn overnight. It's going to take time. I've been reflecting back on the last 9 months of how I changed my life. I went backwards for a month, so technically 8 months I've been doing what I'm doing. Went backwards 1 month, and multiple times, actually, did I follow what I thought what I was supposed to do, what everyone else was doing. I was falling into the societal standards of a different industry, of a different way to do things. That's not me. And my message to you today, through all this beautiful chaos, and I share this chaos as a friend. That's the biggest thing. Chaos happens everywhere we go, right? It's not, oh my gosh, she's messed up. No, I'm dealing with my own life battles and struggles and journey, and you're doing the same thing. We may be at different levels. You may be eons ahead of me. You may be behind me. I don't know, but here's the one thing I do know. I don't care. Because if you're ahead of me, thank you. Thank you for paving the path. Thank you for showing me that I can do what you're doing. Thank you. And if you're behind me, hold on tight. Hold on tight and know that it's okay. This too, yes, this too shall pass. But notice where you're growing, what you're learning. And if anybody can tell you this, maybe you're just like the Q-tip. Maybe you're not meant to fit in the box when things become a mess. Maybe you're meant to make your own path, your own journey, and a new place for you to settle. So I want you to hold that. Hold that here in your heart. Hold that in your mind. Speak positive, think positive, but really reflect on your life. Look at your life. Connect with your higher power, your God, whoever that might be, and do what's right. And it will all come together. It takes time, but it will all come together. And if there's one thing I know, do not push. Do not rush. Embrace the journey. Take it slow. We're not meant to rush in life. All of the stimulation we get on a daily, we were not meant for that. Our bodies were not meant for that. So if we know that our bodies were not meant for that, then why would we try pushing our journey? There's no reason. So know that you're not meant to fit into a box like the Q-tips. Maybe you're going to make a mess today, maybe tomorrow, maybe in 6 months, but enjoy that and don't try shoving yourself back into that box. Make a new box. Until next time, loves.
If this episode resonated with you, subscribing, sharing it, or leaving a review is one of the easiest ways to support the podcast and help it reach other women who might need it too. I really appreciate you being here, and remember, you don't rise through it alone. We rise through it together.